welcome, Yogev.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I also want to thank Emily. Emily and I have crossed paths, like kind of almost serendipitously the entire time that I've been living here. When I was up in Marion working for Sprouting Hope, working with folks receiving food assistance to grow as much food as possible. Emily was working with ASD, and we got a grant that she helped us implement to plant fruit trees up there. We worked together community organizing through different organizations. And then later, we both found ourselves working in the same program of like 5 staff, and they partnered us together going around to group homes, picking up clients, and doing mental health support work. And I see you, Emily, and I appreciate you, and thank you for inviting me to be here. It's an honor to be here. My father, who recently passed away, in his wallet, my whole life, I always remember him carrying this, which is now my wallet. This is a list of the 7 principles of the UUCH. And so I'm going to reflect on those principles today with you and just share some experiences I've had in my spiritual journey. And I wanted to share about an experience that I've had recently, which is the heart dance. And it's a Native American ceremony. About 20 minutes from here is the land owned by a woman, Lakota One Heart. She's a Native American shaman here in Abingdon, and she has a plot of land that's very special. And 20 years ago, my mom and my stepdad and my brother and my sister, we went to this land together, and we did a vision quest. And she's been a spiritual teacher of me for a long time, and I just want to bring you to that land in this moment. It's on the side of a mountain. If you stand up too straight, you might fall over, so you kind of have to bend a knee a little bit on a lot of areas. And there's 7 springs. The water is just flowing through that mountain, pure, clean water that's getting filtered through that rock. That rock is limestone. Limestone is, I have a Jewish ancestry as well, and the Temple Mound in Jerusalem is limestone. Limestone is the foundation stone of this earth. Limestone is a rock that's only created in the most peaceful conditions here on earth. Where limestone is currently forming is the Bahamas, and a calm seabed where there is no storms, no turbulence, peace. This rock formed on her land. You can find this rock everywhere. And most of the time, when you look at it, you can see the seashells, and you can see the sea worms, and you can see the life. That rock's telling a story. That rock is telling a story about what peace feels like to life. There's a mature forest on that land. It's not the young, quick pine trees or the tree of heaven that I find a lot on my farm, just trying to break ground and establish a forest. But what you find there is old, ancient energy. There's a forest there where Mother Nature is old and wise. It's the trees of the black walnuts and the locusts and the trees that have been there a long time and have really established themselves in that ecosystem. On this land, I've been doing for the last 5 years a ceremony called the Heart Dance. During this ceremony, we gather in a group of up to about 12 people for 3 days and 3 nights, where we're in silence, we're in meditation, we fast, we tend to the fire, we dance, and we drum. And we drum the heart song. And in this circle, we reflect on our lives, and we find peace in our heart, and we manifest that peace throughout the world. There's a tree at the center of our circle. It's an old locust tree, and this tree has seen a lot. At some point in its life, this tree, while these dances were occurring, as people are praying for healing into this tree experienced a great suffering. The top of the tree broke about 15 feet tall, where all the new growth and where all the new branches were. A storm came in, and that tree fell over. And so what was left was that 15-foot stump. And that tree wanted to keep living. It heard our prayers and it healed. And it decided to keep going. And from there's new sprouts and new growth that have and now this tree is full and healthy and strong. 15 years ago, I was living up in the DC area. And at the time, there was a proposal for the Keystone XL pipeline. And the State Department was considering approving a permit that would allow this to go through much of the United States, including through indigenous territory near the Pine Ridge Reservation of the Lakota Sioux. There was a lot of people that wanted to speak at this hearing. This is the last one. And to make sure that important elders had spots, I came the night before the hearing with a bunch of friends in the climate justice movement, and we stayed up all night long waiting in line to hold space for somebody to speak. And I happened to hold space for a woman by the name of Dakota White Plume. She's from the Pine Ridge Reservation. She's Lakota. And I want to share her words that she spoke 15 years ago, and they still ring in my heart as very true and important today. She said, "We are human beings, the two-legged. We live with the four-legged, the winged, and the standing silent nations, the plants. We are a part of the environment. There is no line separating us from our environment. I stand with the Great White Father to say no to this pipeline, for him to defend our people, to defend the animals, to defend the birds, our plants, and our water. Say no to this pipeline that is killing the people where the oil is coming from, the First Nations of Canada. This is genocide for the First Nations people. The American people should not have to choose between jobs and wrecking the environment for the coming 7 generations. So I ask you all to remember the words, Me taku ye owasin. It means all my relations. We are all related here on Mother Earth. We all need to stand together, for Mother Earth is crying. Our Lakota prophecy tells us when Mother Earth cries, we stand up and we fight for her, or she will die and we will die with her. So I ask everyone to remember, crying earth, rise up with her. Rise up and say no to this pipeline. Say no to death. No, no, no. I live in Damascus, where Hurricane Helene came in and devastated my town. After the week of this destruction was the week of the heart dance this year. And after seeing all this destruction, I go to this special mountain, this place that I've described. And I go up to our dance site, and I see the tree that we've been praying around. And I see trees that have come down all around her. I see strong, powerful locust trees that have completely collapsed. I see black walnut trees that are no longer alive. And I see the tree that we've been praying to all this time, the heart tree. About 8 feet up, that storm broke her again. But this time, she did not break and separate. This time when she broke, the way the tree's structured, the trunk is like the core, it's like a stabilizing force, but the life of the tree, the circulatory system, the trees think and communicate like we do with electrical impulses that go way slower than our brains work, but those electrical impulses, the way that the tree communicates between the roots and the top and the leaf is through this channel. It's kind of like a hoop. You know, that's one way to think about it, is that the forces that are really moving and all that is like this energy that's flowing on this hoop that goes around the trunk. And when she broke, there remained a connection, a small connection, to where she is still alive and she is still connected fully. And so we let her be, and we prayed to her just the way that she is. And currently she's trying to heal. She's trying to figure out what her next steps in her life look like. She may have to let go of a lot of branches. She might have to rebuild, but she is still alive and she is strong. A lot of this destruction is because of this death that we see all around us. I think it's manifesting in part because of climate change and our relationship with the Hurricane Helene. With the changing climate, we are now knowing that it's not so much an increase in the frequency of these storms, but the intensity of the storms. We're seeing higher winds and the storms coming up further and being more destructive. I've experienced a lot of death in the last couple of years, and I'm processing this as I'm praying to this tree. I'm thinking about that prophecy, the Lakota prophecy, crying, "Earth Mother, rise up." The stories that we tell are important. This is a truth I believe, that we are co-creator with Creator, that we manifest the prophecy, that the stories we tell, we create. And I've been paying attention to creation stories. I think about Adam and Eve, a creation story about when humanity started to behave differently and build this culture that began to branch us out from the rest of the animal kingdom. I think about the creation story of the Lakota people, the story of White Buffalo Calf Woman. The story of White Buffalo Calf Woman happened maybe about 2,000 years ago at a time when this Native American community was at a time of suffering, a time of great influx, a time of the trajectory of the future. That story hadn't been decided yet. And so at the time, people were hungry and they were suffering and things were hard and they had lost their way. They had lost their connection to Creator and in communication with the divine. And White Buffalo Calf Woman came to the people and she told them the way. She reminded them through the 7 sacred rites. It's a way of living. It's a way of behaving. It's a way of how we do ceremony, how we live, how we relate to each other. It's perhaps the 7 sacred rites aren't that different from the 7 principles of the UUCH. There's another prophecy within the Lakota people, and I think it's another way of saying the same prophecy of Mother Earth crying. And I like to refer to it as mending the hoop. I also come from a Jewish background, so I like to think of it as tik alum, which is Hebrew for repairing the world. And this is a prophecy like when Earth Mother cries, we rise up and we fight for her. We stand with her. When we repair the sacred hoop, we live these principles and we actually manifest the vision of what we want to create in this world. I'm involved in a group, the Appalachian Peace Education Center, and we had our annual gathering recently, and we honored Linda Modica, who is a longtime member and really does a lot for the peace movement. And she shared some wisdom that really rings true to me. And the way that she explained it is that the way that she carries this work forward always is with hope in her heart, irrelevant of the results that we expect. And another way I'll put that is the difference between hope and optimism. When we look at the world today and we see genocide in the Middle East and wars and the threat of World War III with Russia, it's hard sometimes to be optimistic. When we look at climate change and everything that we're facing, the path forward doesn't seem easy or like that it will flow quickly. It's hard to be optimistic. However, hope is different than optimism in that with hope, there's no expectation of results. It's independent of what may happen because hope comes from a place of we know that this is the right thing to do. It's an orientation of the heart. I've done a lot with APEC over the last 10 years, and I was really honored this year. We've been focusing on bringing peace to the Middle East, and we were able to get a direct sit-down meeting with Senator Kaine. And at that meeting, I was able to come and speak from a Jewish perspective about why peace in the Middle East is so important. And I went deep into my Jewish roots. And through that, I connected with a song composed by my great-grandmother, Sarah. She lived in Chicago. She was a community organizer. She was a secretary for an Asian American cultural organization. She worked with the Black community. She worked in the labor movement. And she was a Jew. And she talked about what Israel meant to her and for the Jewish people, that as a people of refugees throughout much of our history, what Israel meant as a safe home where there is no more refugees anywhere in the world. They all can always go to Israel. And I told Senator Kaine about how war only brings more war. That for Israel, and the Israel that I believe in as a place of peace, we will only experience that when we have peace. Like the words of Martin Luther King, love can only heal hate. You cannot defeat hate with more hate. And so what Israel needs and what Palestine needs is we need justice in Palestine. We need peace in Palestine for us to experience peace in Israel. And so I shared a song written by my great-grandmother that she wrote long before me with that same vision, where she's at a time in Israel where there was also violence like now, where there was, as the words of the song, where blood was mixing with sand. It's written as a lullaby to a child here to bring the intersection to the children of the Middle East who are also living under the same sky, who are experiencing a different reality. And in those lyrics is a line that she holds where her hope comes from, that one day we will have peace in the Middle East, and that boy that lives there will experience the same peace that we do. I want to invite you all to join the Appalachian Peace Education Center and the work that we're doing, which we share. When I read the sixth principle from the UU principles, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, this is the mission of the Appalachian Peace Education Center. And I hope that we can continue to partner with the church here and achieve this mission together. We're starting up a new membership process. If anybody would like to become a member, all we ask is that you either donate either time or money, volunteer, come to an event. I want to thank the UU Church for being an outstanding partner already by sharing our announcements and promoting our events. And I want to end today, also if anybody wants to talk to me after, I'd love to, if you want to sign up to get on our mailing list, if you're not already, I'd love to connect with you and meet with any of you one-on-one and talk more about Apex work and how we can work together. I wanted to end with a song. This is a love song, and I want to invite my partner Meg up here to sing it for us.
Hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya na. Wanai na wa hey ne hey ana hey ne hey ya hey oh hey ana wanai na ho wanai ana hey ne oh ah. Hey ya hey oh hey ya. Hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya. Hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya. Hey ya, hey ya, hey oh, hey ya na. Wanai na wa hey ne, hey ya na, hey ne.